Hi, we're going to look at completing the square today. So completing the square is another way of solving a quadratic rather than graphing, factoring, or even using the quadratic formula. This uses a little bit of factoring within it though. So completing the square, the idea is to turn this whole left side of this problem into a perfect square. In order to do that, there's a few things that we have to do first. First thing is this number in front, the a, can only be a 1. So since I have 3 here, what I'm going to do is take every single term and divide it by 3. As long as I do it to everything, we're okay. All right. The next portion of it is this 15 is stopping the rest of this to be a perfect square. So what I want to do is take that 15 and move it to the other side by adding 15. All right, so why did I leave a little gap? Because we're going to add something after these to turn this whole left side into a perfect square. What do we do? How do we get there? Well, this c value, we get there by taking whatever the b value is, -2, dividing it by 2, and then squaring it. So I'm going to take my b, divide it by 2, and square it, which will give us, in this case, -2 divided by 2, exponent of 2, -1 squared, which is +1. So what I want to do is if I add 1 here, I also need to add 1 there. Just like when we do inverse operations, what you do to the left side, you have to do the right side. We add 15, we divided everything by the same number. We got to do the same thing. So let's do kind of 2 steps now. I want to take this left side and factor it. Put it in 2 sets of parentheses. What times itself gives me x squared? X times x. What times itself gives me 1, 1 and 1. Now I need a +1, so it's either going to be positive 1 times +1 or negative and negative. In order to get that negative, we're going to do minus minus. And on to the right side, 15 plus 1 gives us 16. Okay, we can take this one more step further. Because both of those are the same parenthesis, I can rewrite it x minus 1 squared equals 16. Okay, cool. Now, we need to get x alone. So we have to move the exponent, we have to move that -1. So I'm going to move it up here just so I have a little more room to write. The inverse operation of an exponent is a radical. So we're going to do it to one side, do it to the other. The radical and the exponent cancel out, leaving you with just x minus 1 equals, when you take the square root of a number with an equal sign in an equation, we have to have a plus minus sign. And what's the square root of 16? 4. Now what this is saying is x minus 1 equals both +4 and -4. So I want to take this, I want to rewrite it twice. First one, x minus 1 equals +4, and then x minus 1 equals the negative of the 4. Add 1 to both sides, and where do we end up? X equals 5. X equals -3. And that is completing the square.